I'm here at the Bell County Courthouse in Pineville, Kentucky, where the Jimmy Rose Watch Party just wrapped up. There's still plenty of graffiti. Many windows are broken. His home traveled from its foundation here, and then in the current went all the way down Dry Creek Road. That roof is right here behind me. You can see where it fell through on this apartment building. Right now they're still trying to figure that out, but they did find about a foot of rainwater on top of this building's roof. They're not only a problem on the plateau, but also here in Maryville at the Kiker Bottoms Refuge. They're eating the plants and grasses that other animals need to survive. So why are so many recruits interested in playing here at Neyland? Well, this year, there's multiple reasons. But the festival in the Fourth won't be the only event looking to the skies this Thursday. Another event based here in the water will have its eyes on the weather Thursday as well. Twisted metal and burnt rubber. That's what covered this stretch of I-40 in Cocke County for much of Wednesday afternoon. It may look like something out of a disaster movie. Witnesses nearby say it sounded intense.
At first, we thought it was lightning and thunder, and I came outside when I saw the traffic lining up, and I saw this truck sitting over here, and it was covered in smoke. I was freaking out because I've never seen an accident that bad in my life.
But the scene here didn't turn out the way one might think. After all, who would predict a family of 3 whose car was pinned in the middle of all this carnage would walk away with their lives?
Nobody was seriously hurt in this.
But that's just what the Burt family did. Kim Burt, her husband, and 15-year-old son.
He just finished driving school yesterday. I'm so glad he wasn't driving.
She said they had spent the day traveling from their home in Fayetteville, North Carolina. The plan was to visit family in Louisville, Kentucky. But just after they made it to Cocke County, a storm came.
My husband started slowing down.
And a chaotic experience on the road soon followed.
Then we stopped, and my son couldn't get out. The car door wouldn't open. He said, "Mom, you got to get out." And we got out, but we were surrounded by semis.
Drivers ahead of the Burts couldn't see, leading to the wreck. The Burts made it out just before this fire ensued. The only injury among them was minor.
My son got some scratches on his back.
She said she's just thankful everyone in the incident came out safe.
And I thank the Lord for taking care of us all. None of us are promised tomorrow, so always be ready.
Now, the Burts lost some money, a suitcase full of clothes, laptops, and a cell phone in this incident, not to mention their car, but they're still happy. First and foremost, they're alive. They'll be staying in Newport for the night. Hello, I'm here in Williamsburg, Kentucky, where earlier this morning, hundreds of people were waiting outside in the cold to get inside of this building. They were waiting for the Mission of Hope, a group that says the need here in southeastern Kentucky and East Tennessee is as great as ever. Every once in a while, we all need a helping hand.
But did you see this other shoe?
Sabrina Bennett of Rocks Oaks, Kentucky, finds herself in that position now.
I have 6 kids, 5 boys, 1 little girl, so it's kind of hard just to buy clothes and stuff all the time.
It's people like her and Brenda Wortham.
There's times that we don't have money to buy clothes.
Who the Mission of Hope looks to help.
And Lord, we thank you for the chance to minister to those in need.
They came to this factory to provide more than 800 local families clothes, food, and even toys.
Yes, he told me.
All free of charge. Everyone who volunteers here has a passion to serve.
Well, I feel good because you see a smile on their face and they feel more relaxed. They feel loved.
And for Keith Decker, this is very personal.
Well, I mean, I come off the streets myself, and a lot of these people's moms and dads were the ones that gave me food.
Now the group he's in charge of, Cedar Ridge Ministries, has teamed up with the Mission of Hope to return the favor.
It's just like God opening the windows of heaven, pouring out a blessing. I could stand here all day and just watch it, because I know what's going on here. These people getting hope.
Sabrina Bennett and her son have that now.
People still out there reaching out.
It's that hope that keeps her family and this community going. Now, as the Mission of Hope's work wraps up here, they still have plenty to do. They say they're getting ready for the Christmas season. From Williamsburg, Kentucky, John Henry, WBIR 10 News.
Once a month, the state keeps numbers on how many inmates are in the county's jails. Its most recent data on September 30th showed almost half of the county's jails in Tennessee were overcrowded.
17 of those jails were right here in East Tennessee, and that comes as more felons enter the state's prison system. It's added more than 6,000 new inmates over the last decade.
WBIR 10 News reporter John Henry took a look tonight at what is behind the state's overcrowding problem and what's being done to fix it.
Sheriff Armando Fontes of Cobb County is a busy man. His job goes beyond just patrolling the streets. He's also responsible for the men and women inside this jail.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you guys today?
Fontes is on the State Sheriff's Association's jail committee. He's also on the Tennessee Board of Control. He keeps a watchful eye on other counties to ensure they're meeting the state's standards. And he said right now, one thing is obvious.
The largest obstacle that we see is basically overcrowding in jails all over Tennessee.
Today, his jail is currently under capacity, but there have been times where it's been over capacity by about 80 people. Across the state, that problem shows itself in different ways. In some counties, inmates occasionally have to sleep on the floors. In Cobb County, they use bedboats when things get tough. Fontes says it's a tall job for any Tennessee sheriff.
A lot of sanitary issues, a lot of medical issues, a lot of issues that rise up that we're responsible for taking care of.
County jails are caught in a tricky situation, too. Obviously, they have to take in anyone who the state's courts convict. And lately, Tennessee's pill problem has helped to throw those numbers into overdrive. As a result, it's taken thousands of dollars just to keep inmates in check. Last year, Cobb County spent about $400,000 to operate its facility. Hamlin County recently spent $100,000 to improve parts of its jail. And then there's the always expensive option of building a new structure. Earlier this year in Monroe County, leaders considered possibly constructing one for $29 million.
Taxpayers have to simply make a decision. Are you going to pay taxes and build facilities to house people that are victimizing families, that are committing burglaries, that are committing thefts, that are selling drugs, that are constantly contributing to the demoralization of our country? Or do you not want to build these jails and continue to let them be out in society?
But overcrowding has hit more than county jails. There's plenty of felons in the state's prison system, too.
In the short term, the strategy would be we recognize through our population projections that we need about 3,400 beds available to us in our inventory over the next 5 years. And in fact, in the next 2 years, we need about 2,500 beds made available.
Right now, the Tennessee Department of Corrections operates at about 96% capacity. In the short term, it says it wants to contract with a local county jail close to Nashville to alleviate some of that pressure. But the state says it's not trying to whittle down its felon population to any specific number. It says its goal is to operate at what it calls, quote, an optimal rate.
And we are actively engaged in a process of ensuring that the majority of beds will be utilized to their fullest capacity.
Last year, the department was charged to oversee thousands of Tennesseans released on parole and probation status. In order to keep some of its hard beds constantly open, the state wants to make sure those past offenders don't come back. So it's having some of those felons participate in alternative programs, like the first of its kind statewide drug court in Morgan County, which focuses on inmates with mental problems and drug addictions.
Well, that's one of the reasons I started the program. I got tired of seeing the same offender come into my court time and time again on a drug charge, and I knew unless I got them some help, they were going to continue to do that.
The state's hopeful those efforts can cut down its recidivism rate. In Tennessee, that's the number of released prisoners who find themselves back in jail within 3 years. But in order to avoid overcrowding, Tennessee also needs the help of its counties. So it sends many of them to local jails, which can present them with an added burden.
It does have an effect on the county.
But the state gives those communities money in return, which can be used to establish county-based efforts that cut down the jail population. But ultimately, Fontes feels there's only one way we'll ever see Tennessee's jail and prison populations drop.
Well, the reason we have so many people in jail is because people ain't getting their heart right with the Lord. And you can choose to live a lifestyle where you are victimizing other people, or you can choose to do what is right, and you can choose to be a productive member of society.
From Cobb County, John Henry, WBIR 10
10 News.